Good afternoon, how are you? I'm Angel, welcome to the channel. In the last weeks, this book has been discussed a lot. What school did you go to? The reproduction of the upper class in Peru. Let's start. The book has been written by the sociologist Luciana Reátegui, the social scientist Álvaro Grompone, and the sociologist Mauricio Rentería. The first and the second having studied at the Catholic University and the last one at San Marcos University. They all are researchers at the Institute for Peruvian Studies, which published the book in March this year. In 7 chapters and 214 pages, what the book aims to answer is whether success depends on merit and effort only. To do so, it tracks academic and professional backgrounds of the upper class of Lima, the capital of Peru. The introduction makes us easy by telling us in 3 pages the family connections of the famous writer Jaime Bailey. It's impressive how intricate it is, related to people who monopolize business, sports, culture, journalism, politics, and many other fields. The number of universities, and especially the schools they attended, is limited. Like the schools Santa María Marianistas, Villa María, Inmaculada, Markham College, and Recoleta, meeting places close to strangers, as page 16 states. Because it's an academic book, there are many references to authors and there's a state of the art. I mean, how much has been researched on this topic? Anyway, a study of Peru's upper class is always interesting, since what is usual here is the study of the working and middle classes. The authors admit that the members of the upper class have merit and effort, but it is framed in advance thanks to privilege based on inheritance, contacts. That is, from the very beginning they have advantages the vast majority of Peruvians don't. There is a concept here, the capitals that this class possesses. Economic, social and cultural. I understand it as wealth and businesses, contacts and taste or common cultural references. Also, the school is an indicator which defines upper class people better than neighborhood, surname or occupation, as it says on page 39. The author selected 4 schools. 2 international, with a cosmopolitan approach including Cambridge certificates, trips abroad and international baccalaureate, and 2 traditional, which emphasizes Catholicism and values, but also has academic excellence. The interviewees were divided in 3 groups: graduate, rising, and established. Why these schools are so prestigious is explained by their infrastructure, the curricula, the opportunities for international exchange, extracurricular subjects, etc. However, being admitted there is not allowed for those who are not upper class. Privilege has to be kept closed, which means only a few will be benefited from those advantages and keep them forever. The few who apply special segregation, as page 79 says, by living in the same districts, interacting in the same beaches and clubs, context so limited that they lead these people to homogamy, on page 107. As Patty, one of the interviewees, states, this is a very small and limited society. Everybody knows who will marry whom in the end, page 114. However, it's revealing that even within the upper class, they still need to find differences. Like gender roles, the man is the provider and cannot stop his academic and working life, while the woman must or can stop her studies temporarily given her role as a mother, or she has a part-time job or is devoted to the home, and that is not looked down, although among the new generations that is not so frequent or common. Other aspects apparently insignificant got my attention, like analyzing how one speaks to determine whether one is near the upper or the working class. I'd like to read a second part which expands the topic on page 106, which says this: money alone does not divide the upper class from the rest, but cultural, aesthetic, and social standards. I admit this topic is mentioned somehow. One of the most interesting parts of the book is that moment in the life of many of these people in which they escape from their bubble, from their capsule at last, and interact with youngsters from other backgrounds, where at university. It is mentioned on chapter 6, starting on page 131. A new middle class has emerged, and some top universities welcome students from every part of the city, including, of course, the so-called conos, or areas traditionally considered out of the modern city, traditionally thought of as slums. I know many cases, and thanks to this chapter and this period in life, the title of the book is relevant. However, while at university, they not only don't abandon their class privilege, but the few friendships they make vanish gradually, and they come back to their privileged circle, which they never abandoned in the first place. There, their professional success is guaranteed. This sequence is revealing. First, the contacts, then the effort and merit, which some attempt to emphasize as the key of their success, page 147. Despite its charts and graphic organizers, this academic book also inserts some articles which deal with specific topics which contribute to the book, like the one about the upper class women or pitucas, or the reflection made by the Peruvian writer Alfredo Bryce on San Marcos University. There are plenty of testimonies which get us nearer to those people, usually elusive. You know, a testimony sometimes tells us much more than statistics. Also, I have counted the stunning number of 171 books and articles in their bibliography. Last but not least, if you ask me where I studied, I would say at Glorioso Usares de Junín, my public school in El Agustino, Eastern Lima, from 1992 to 2002. Despite lacking a lot of things, that is the education I had and the privilege I had as well. Having had education in a school made of brick and concrete with running water and electricity, it's not about accusing the upper class but not defending them either, but each of us is privileged if opposed to others who accessed fewer things than us, if they ever did. Throughout the book, the authors admit that those practices involving exclusion, family contacts, social contacts, and restricted areas are common in every single social class or social level in Peru. It's widespread, and if the upper class has access to the highest power, it's logical to conclude that those restricted access and social contacts are taken to levels not seen in the other social groups. It's not the same monopolizing jobs in a district municipality and monopolizing jobs in the ministries, for instance. Rather than pointing at the upper class, and here I appreciate the authors for admitting how near they are to this upper class, otherwise they wouldn't have interviewed them, I believe this book invites us to analyze ourselves as a whole country and to debate on how we can have a fair society with less contacts and more opportunities for everybody and not just for a privileged group. Bye bye.